Yes. So I just watched a video, really good video. There's actually only one video on YouTube that shows the similarity between a movie called The Siege. It came out in '98. Denzel Washington, Meg, I forgot her last name. She was in Courage Under Fire too, I think. And Bruce Willis was in it. And I think Tony Shalhoub, the guy that was on Monk. They had an Asian lady. They had quite a few people. Oh, the dude is the guy that wound up being on The Wire too later on. Nobody has put the comparison between the two. Just quick little rundown. The Siege was a movie about terrorist attacks, bombs all over New York City, and they couldn't stop them. And so the military was called in, martial law was instated, and they were putting any Middle Eastern men in cages. And we went to torture. The movie went into just the idea of a society crumbling from the inside, I guess you'd say it. All that stuff. And I want to start at the end. Something that's really bugging me. The gentleman who did the video tried to say that he believed that movie prevented martial law after September 11th. It's bullshit. I don't believe that, and you shouldn't either. I don't believe Americans are inherently good. I don't believe that anymore. I don't believe that anymore. I don't think Bush was a racist. I think his brand of neo-colonial stuff was not about racism. What do you think about Halliburton and all that stuff? What do you think about that? It wasn't. I just thought about with Obama how, you go from that movie, '98, talking about torture and how that was crazy. And now we're at a point where we torture humans. We torture our fellow Americans. We have a president that instated something where they can kill Americans without trial or any of that. So this is over 20 years later. And it's amazing looking back at that film, how it's one of those things where you don't realize how far you've gone down the rabbit hole until you see stuff like that. We don't just torture, we go way beyond torture. Yeah, they have guidelines where they can torture, Americans, kill Americans overseas, all that. That's what we do, man. It's what we do. The NDAA and all that stuff, the Patriot Act, yeah, it's way worse than that. But that movie, was terrifying. And see, now we've got white domestics. Let me say this too. The movie goes into the government going after people, whereas we saw a lot of Americans attacking sheiks, attacking Middle Eastern men. You had a lot of that murders and stuff. You had a lot of that back then. And those people were tried. They were convicted of murder and of crimes. That wasn't given a pass. Like with Trump trying to say that they're great people on both sides, Nazis are great people and all that. You didn't see that back then. I think that now we're living in a time to where we have a person that is quite willing to pardon war criminals. And not just war criminals. These are people that their own leadership says, yeah, we don't think he did all this other stuff that you say he did, but at least he did this. And the president says, no, I don't care about your law. I'm going to pardon them anyway. I think we're living in a very different time. That's what that movie was about. I don't think Bush was a racist. I know Trump is. That movie, there was a bit of racism in there. There was a part where I think Denzel was arguing one of the soldiers, and one of the soldiers was like, well, don't mess with me. I might mistake you for a Nigerian or something. That's racism. That's racism right there. And for you to tell that to an FBI special agent, see, one thing about white people, most of the time, they're not going to do stuff like that to people that can hurt them, to folks who are in power. I don't care if you're gay, black, whatever. If you got a little power, so for them to tell you that you're in uniform, that's a bona fide racist. It's right underneath the skin. It ain't even hidden. It ain't even like in the back of their head. It's right there. It's a little paper cut or something that's coming out. But I think the movie was about man's inhumanity, about American response. The guy talks about he doesn't think it would be predicted. The siege is kind of like the Pentagon coming out with the climate change stuff. This is not something that's going to fix anything. This is something to get their people ready for what's coming. This is basically like, all right, it's coming. We know it's coming. It may be in 3 years, maybe in 5, maybe in 10 years. We know it's coming. Get ready. You know, that's what that is. Like I said, going back to it, I don't think Bush is a racist. I don't think Bush or Cheney. I know a lot of people around Trump are racist. Look at Stephen Miller contacting all these people and talk about racist books. You know what's crazy is years ago I used to hear white people try to say, oh no, it's not really that. You know what gets me? Is that when you had that Jussie Smollett thing where he said that there were these racist guys that whooped him up, put a noose on him, poured bleach on him and all that. I remember there was all these white people that came out of the woodwork who were saying that, oh, see, you guys are always talking about racism, and this time it's on your, now this time it's on you, this time it's we got proof of it. And then I think like before that, you would have a case, it was like a shooting at a Walmart in Houston, I think, or something, and everybody thought it was a white man with a red hat on. Everybody thought, and it turned out it wasn't. It was some black guys. It was a gang initiation, unfortunately. I remember white people just went insane about that. Just, see, this is proof. This is proof, and then this happens. Hold on, man. You know what? I don't gotta guess. Hold on. I don't even gotta guess all this shit he did. All the different comments he made going out to different racist organizations. Hold on. Stephen Miller racism. I don't even have to make it up to you. It's already manifest out there. And okay, here we go. Former Breitbart. This is the lady that leaked the information. She was a racist too. Free contact. Several runs of emails. Said he I can't even find it. It was a bunch of shit she did, basically. A bunch of shit he did. Shit. I can't. It doesn't even matter. There's a lot of emails he put out there about racism, and here it is. These people were talking about would they be able to, the Mexicans, to be able to stay in this country on a temporary protected status. Special category given to Haitian survivors of the devastating 2010 earthquake, among others. She said, wow, as this president, he responded with a link to an article on an extremist website that promotes the racist Great Replacement theory that white people are facing genocide. And later said, I do want to emphasize that these emails are now White House policy. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is white victimhood. And they tell us that we're arguing for racism, but yet they're putting forward stuff. I don't have to go into all that nonsense about white genocide. I don't have to even go into that. White supremacy and anti-immigration. I'm not going into all this. But anyway, I think that's what that movie. I think there was a lot more racism in that movie. Whereas with Bush, I think it was about neocolonialism, going in and building that pipeline. It was about, changing the maps up. It was just about going in there and tearing shit up. And the movie doesn't go into that. The Siege doesn't go into that. I'm sure if you had stuff like that, I'm sure you would have people. That was an orb just went past me or something, because there ain't no flies in there. That was weird. I'm sure you'd have military operations going overseas if that happened. If you had these bombings, I'm sure something would happen. But the movie doesn't go into detail. The movie is about domestic issues, domestic people, and then you have the military. It was a domestic point of view. Average people watching the militarization of New York City. That's what it was about. I understand that. So let's keep it there. Because I just find it interesting in looking at that movie. I'm gonna watch it again. That we are so far beyond. It's like that movie is like some high schooler smoking weed, and his mom catching him, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna be, what are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm just smoking a little weed," and it's like some weak ass brick Mexican type weed. Like, it's not even like any. It's like some cheap ass shit that he got at high school or something. And now, that was in 98. And now in 2019, almost 2020, we're looking at a full-on junkie. I'm talking about opioids, mainlining heroin, sucking dick, doing everything it takes to get that next high. That's the America I see. How you go from smoking a little bit of weed after school to being a damn junkie, I leave it up to you. That's the world I see. And looking at the lies they told, that's what gets me about these rednecks and all that, is that it comes out the American government lied to them. That's why I made a video earlier talking about the 84, how it's like a cult. It's a cult psyche. I really believe that. I really believe that kind of stuff now. I got a cult psyche thing going on. Because this is hate. I don't think that they knew when the movie came out how it would go. I think if you told people 1998, if you told them that we're at the point where we kill American citizens, that we pardon American war criminals, that we'd be at war for 20 years, I don't think a lot of people would have believed it. But looking at how many rules and laws the American government breaks on a daily basis, shouldn't surprise you. My point is just that these people are devils. And putting a Democrat in is not going to fix this. This system is corrupted. All the way corrupted. That's why they hated Obama, even though he did what they wanted. And they're going to hate Bernie Sanders too. You can't fix this system. And I'm not going to put my life energy and my spirit into that. I voted for Obama the first time. I'm not going to go out and stand in line for 3 hours to vote for Bernie, even though I support him. I'm not going to do that. For one thing, I don't eat in restaurants anymore. I don't just hang around places. Like, one thing about this white people calling police on black people thing, It's not a fear thing. It's maybe it is a little bit of a fear because I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to get hurt. But it's the realization that I'm living around domestic terrorists and I'm working around domestic terrorists. And this is real. And no one's talking about it. I think the government just recently they started watching white supremacist terrorism. They just now, all the stuff that's happened, they're just not talking about it. They're just not recognizing this terrorism. Maybe Trump was good in that way. I don't have any hope for the American government. To the point to where Trump got reelected, I wouldn't spend too much time. I wouldn't be surprised. In a way, I believe this man wants to destroy his country. In a way, I believe this man is so destructive and he is so wicked that you can't fix him. You can't work with him. It's not going to work. Sorry. These people are sick. They're very sick and they love war. There's no fixing that. They love war. And it's hard to go to work with these crackers and watch this propaganda and think to myself, if these crackers hadn't went to war for 20 years on the basis of a lie, it's a good chance we wouldn't even need to do all this humanitarian stuff. You ever think about that? If you hadn't invaded Iraq, got Saddam Hussein, maybe I wouldn't need to drive these trailers over there. I don't know. I think these folks are so caught up in the Jesus cult, they don't even see what America's done over the last 20 years, how America's changed. Like I said, in my mind, we're at war. And I function as such. I take that very seriously. Yeah, in my mind, we're always at war. And I'm not at war with Iran, and I'm not at war with China. Make that very clear. Coming out here to Boone, a place like that, remind me that I'm not at war with any of those people. The only war we've ever been in was been with the oppressor. We're just living in a time now where they're more bold and blatant about it than they've ever been. That's it. But I have no qualms about that. We're at war. You should conduct yourself as such. You should think as such. So I don't go hang out in restaurants. I don't go hang out in places. I think about how do I get out of here quickly if something happens, And it's amazing how many people don't. That's why I hate living down here. They don't. They ignore this. I mean, you've got white folks telling you, the white men tell you that Trump's gonna not be impeached, because if he is, he said, why? My 357 says so. Telling you to your face they're willing to use violence. And your cracker ass sitting there looking, what do he mean by that? Well, what does that mean? It means he's willing to go to violence. He's willing to start killing a lot of innocent people if he doesn't get his way. That's what it means. People like me, people with brown skin will die if he doesn't get his president in there for another 4 years. Yeah. You can be a fool. You can play with these crackers if you want to. You can pretend we're still in Kansas. I'm not. I'm ready. And you should be too.